Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks on Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Plus and S10 Ultra. I tried to find some interesting tips or tricks that could be even useful for some of you at least. I know some of them may be obvious or you already may know about them, but I nevertheless tried to find something that could be cool and worth trying out. So the first thing that I want to show you is Samsung DeX. This is the app that can be found, for instance, in the quick access, which converts the design of the tablet to resemble the one from PCs, for instance, from Windows. As you can see at the bottom, we have this taskbar, which allows you to open and close tabs pretty easily. As you can see, even if I open an app, then it looks like in the pop-up view or on Windows with the Explorer. Of course, I can open it in the full screen, I can minimize it, and I can return to it easily. We can change the focus if needed, we can drag them around, and so on and so forth. Pretty cool experience that makes you feel like you're actually using something more even than just a tablet, but like a mini computer, let's say, right? Of course, the DeX app is not really new on Samsung Galaxy Tabs. However, the design is definitely refreshed and it's worth trying out. Now, in addition to that, if you open the settings, you can go to connected devices, and then if you open Samsung DeX, then you can switch to the classic mode. However, first we need to exit this one, and we're gonna switch to classic and start it. We're gonna see this little animation over here, and now it definitely looks like a computer. Now, if you just connect your keyboard or something and you have a mouse, then it definitely feels like a computer. It really resembles Windows at this point, so it's definitely worth trying out. We can open multiple things at once. I'm trying to figure out how to open apps, but I think if we go over here, yeah, so in the bottom left corner we have these dots, which allows you to open all apps. And if you want to exit this mode, this DeX, then of course you have this option over here, exit DeX. And there we go, so now we will switch back to the normal mode. Definitely worth trying out if you prefer that Windows-like style, then of course you have these two options. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning is the option to turn your tablet into the second screen or second monitor, or actually additional monitor for your PC or laptop, because over here we have second screen. Now, as long as you have the same app on Windows PC, for instance, which can be found on in Microsoft Store, and if you enable it, and once you pair your tablet with your PC, then you can use it as additional monitor. Alright, so I switched to the to make it look like a desktop, and maybe you can notice that there's actually a mouse on my screen. I can right click and I can do stuff over here. It is pretty cool, not gonna lie. It looks pretty well, although at first when I used it for the first time, I had some issues with it. And this is how the app looks like on Windows. So I can even show you how it looks like on my desktop. And it's pretty cool. It's definitely worth trying. If you have issues with lags at first, then I recommend restarting, updating the system, and so on and so forth. Maybe trying several times in order to make it work, but it's definitely pretty cool and definitely worth trying out. So if you want to, you can open YouTube from here. You can, I don't know, like open Notepad. You can pretty much use it as a monitor at this point. So that's pretty cool. Let me actually go back. I'm gonna disconnect. And yeah, so definitely worth trying out if you wish to extend your amount of monitors and improve your experience on PC. Now, if you have Samsung Galaxy smartphone, then you also can synchronize your messages and calls on this tablet. And you can, for instance, send messages from your tablet without using your smartphone. In this case, you want to go to settings, and once again, in connected devices, you want to go to call and text on other devices. You want to turn this option on every device that you want to synchronize with. Over here you have this button to link this tablet to your phone. You will have the QR code that you can scan in order to use it. In addition to that, in the quick access, you also have this option that you need to enable or make sure that it is actually enabled. Now, while I'm using the pen, it is also worth mentioning that we have additional tools for the pen. So once you use it, you can tap on this pen icon in order to find such options as sketch the image, smart select, create note, screen write, and you can also add additional features over here. You can add more shortcuts over here. So if you want to quickly like write something on the screen, you can take the screenshot and then you can start drawing, or I don't know, like making circles to point something out, etc. It's a pretty cool feature as well. This is a screenshot, so later on you can actually save it and send it to someone if needed. Now, if you just started using your Galaxy Tab, it is worth turning on the Find My Tablet option, which is of course pretty similar to the ones that we have on Apple products. And in order to turn it on, we want to of course go to settings, and you want to go to security and privacy, and over here we have lost device protection. You want to turn this on, of course. You will need to sign in to Samsung account, but if you want to make sure that you can actually locate your tablet in case you lose it, then you have this option to turn this option on. You also have the send last location and offline finding as well, which allow you to find your tablet to be found by other people's Galaxy devices even when it's not connected to a network. So definitely worth trying out. And enabling, of course, in order to potentially get your tablet back or find it. Now, another thing that you can do is hide apps in the home screen and in the app drawer. And in addition to that, you can also lock these apps. So if you want to have a private app, then what you can do is set up the secure folder and then hide the app in the home screen and app drawer. In order to do that, first we're gonna open the secure folder, we're gonna set it up. In order to set up the secure folder, you want to go to security and privacy in the settings, and then if you scroll down, go to more security settings, and over here you have secure folder. Now I already have set up the secure folder, so I don't have to do this again. However, in your case, you will have the initial configuration, which you can go through pretty easily. If not, there is also a tutorial on my channel that you can check out. Once you set up the secure folder, you can go to the secure folder and then enter the pin code that you have provided. And now over here, you can add apps to the secure folder. In order to do that, you want to press this plus button. And now over here, you want to find the app that you want to lock, you want to use privately. So let's say I want to use Zoom privately. So I want to select it, press add over here, and now I have a Zoom app over here. Now, that is not over, because while this app is now locked, this is like a separate instance, by the way. So if you use multiple accounts, then this is also a pretty good way to duplicate apps. However, the main idea is that it is providing security and privacy for the app usage. So the next thing that we need to do is hide the app from the home screen if you want to do that, if you want to make sure that no one else can actually access the app. So as you can see right now, I have Zoom in the app drawer, but I can go to the home screen settings, and over here we have hide apps on home and app screen. Over here you want to scroll down, choose Zoom, and then press done, and there we go. So now if you go back, there we go, there is no Zoom app at all. Not here, not in the home screen. But if I open my secure folder, then I will have my Zoom app over here. So that is a pretty cool way to hide apps and keep your privacy. As a drawback, I have to say that there is a loop. You can, for instance, go to the Play Store in order to find whether the app is actually installed or not. If it's installed, then you can still open it. So there is still a way to actually sneak into the app, but at the same time, if you use the secure folder only, then there is really nothing to worry about, because every data that you have in the secure folder is not included on the tablet itself, like it is a separate instance. At the same time, there's also additional things that you can do in order to prevent that from happening, because if you go to the settings, and then if you go to digital well-being and parental controls, you can set the app timer for the app, and over here this works only for the main app on the tablet. It doesn't affect the app on inside the secure folder. So if you select the same app and you set the timer and you set it to 00, you press done. Then if you go to the Play Store, let's search for Zoom again. Let me open the keyboard, there we go. Then if you try to open it, you will see the information that app timer ran out, and it's always like that. On the other hand, if you go to the secure folder, then you can still use your Zoom app without any issues. So this is one of the ways in order to protect the security of the app. And to furthermore add additional layer of protection, you can actually do one more thing. In digital well-being and parental controls, you can go to the top right corner, tap on these three dots, go to settings, and then set the pin code for this setting, for digital well-being settings. So if someone tries to edit something, whether edit the app timer, edit the screen time goal, whatever, or remove it, or add something new, then it will be not possible until the pin code is provided. And the pin code is actually different from the password for your tablet, so you can have a completely different password for these settings. Alright, so I think that's enough for security of your apps and privacy in that case. And another thing that I want to show you in terms of tips and tricks is the option to use a circle like move, or just the option to select the area in order to search something on the internet. If you have buttons, then what you can do is press and hold your finger on the home screen. You will see the Google search at the bottom, but what you can do is pretty much select the area that you want to search on the internet, and you can search by using images. So this is also a pretty cool way to try to find something on the internet by selecting the area from your screen. Now, if you have gestures instead, so let me quickly switch to gestures. Let's go to navigation bar. So if you have swipe gestures, then instead you want to press and hold the finger on the bar at the bottom, and it works pretty much the same way. So if I select, for instance, this over here, then I can search by using the image. And of course, you can also just tap on the area in order to, on a point in order to select a small area. Of course, you can extend it if needed, but it's a pretty cool way to actually search for something by image on the internet. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is something for battery preservation, because if you go to settings and then go to battery, then over here you have power saving. And of course, power saving is nothing special. It is provided for pretty much every Android device at this moment. However, what you can also do is tap these three dots in the top right corner in order to enable adaptive power saving, which allows you to turn on power saving mode automatically and disable it, of course, based on your usage patterns. So then the tablet will learn how often you use your tablet and at what time. And after some time, you will notice that the device will start using those patterns and turn on the power mode when the device will think that it is recommended to do so in order to save the battery. Now, another thing that I want to show you is the auto blocker, which can be found in security and privacy settings. And over here, we will find auto blocker over here, which is probably enabled by default if I remember correctly, which allows you to block apps from unauthorized sources. You can block commands by USB cable. You can block malware images in messaging apps, and you can also block software updates by USB cable. However, there's also maximum restrictions option, which is not enabled by default, I think, and you can turn it on in order to enable the app protection so that apps installed on your tablet will be checked for malicious activity. You can also prevent device admin apps and work profiles from being activated on your tablet, and this protects you from attacks where these features may be used to access your data or remotely control your tablet, and so on and so forth. So over here you have all these examples, definitely worth checking out and potentially enabling if you are scared for your tablet and you think that at some point you may be I don't know, like attacked or something, or hacked. Now over here in the top right corner, we can also go to about auto blocker in order to find the version. So if there's any wonders about the version, then of course you can find it there. And you can also contact Samsung if you have probably some questions about the app or this feature. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is of course some AI features that are implemented, which are under Galaxy AI on your tablet. And over here some of these options can be turned on or off, but once you have the device, or if you already have the device, then what you can do is go through these options in order to find out how they work. For instance, we have the chat translation, we have composer, we have style and grammar feature that will fix those for you if you chat. We have the interpreter, the live interpreter, which can be accessed through the quick access which I have mine over here. If you don't have it, then of course you can press this pen icon in order to edit the quick access, which is pretty useful when you are abroad, in order to communicate with those who don't understand your language or you don't understand their language. We have note assists, which also provides some tools. In this case, we have to enable it, which provides some tools like summarization of your points, transcription of voice recordings, auto-generation of covers based on the content of the notes. We have the auto-correction of spelling and grammar, and we also have the option to translate text in your notes. Definitely worth checking out, definitely worth turning on. And in addition to that, make sure that you have needed language packs for translation if you want to use that. Not only that, we also have transcript assist. We have what's more, we have browsing assist even, which makes content on web pages easy to understand, apparently, which seems to be just summarizing or translating some content if you select it. We have photo assist, which allow you to cut objects and move them on the picture. We have some sketches, some edits that we can do on images, some assists pretty much to quickly turn our picture into something more, let's say by applying different filters automatically. Now we also have drawing assist, which allow you to draw sketches and then turn them into some objects. So I'm gonna show you in a second the example of exactly how it looks like. I think this is a pretty cool feature. And we also have the photo ambient wallpaper, which allows you to create a wallpaper that will also adapt to the weather in real life. And we also have the health assist, which needs to be set up, I think. Yeah, so we need to press continue in order to move forward, and so on and so forth. I'm actually gonna just go back and yeah, so definitely worth checking these out. I don't think it's worth going through these AI features one by one in order to explain each one of them. I think they are pretty understandable as they are mentioned over here. So I also said that I want to show you the drawing assist and why it is so cool. So actually, let me double check if it is actually enabled. We need to turn it on. So let's go to notes, for example. I'm gonna open notes and let's see if we can actually turn something into a real thing. So in the notes we have these stars and we can choose sketch to image. So let's see, let's draw maybe a car. We have to draw something. Okay, so and let's switch to the pen. I'm gonna draw a simple flower. I don't think it looks like a flower, but whatever. Maybe this will resemble a flower. Alright, this is a pretty bad sketch, but let's see what AI will think about it. So now let's select the area of my sketch and let's turn it into illustration and let's press and generate. Now we need to wait just a couple of seconds before it turns into something. Of course, we have still some other options. There we go. It looks pretty like mine, not gonna lie. I think that went pretty well. Of course, we can move left and right in order to see other options. And of course, you can replace, you can add a note, you can just copy it, and so on and so forth. So let's press replace, and there we go. I have my sketch turned into an illustration. Pretty cool, by using AI. So I think these are one of the best tips that I could find on the tablet. Of course, there's much more, but at this point the video has, I think, 19 minutes, so definitely enough, and definitely more can be found by simply experiencing the tablet and going through different options over here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next videos. Bye.